Yo, I just got some information myself, man, because it was strange to me that every month he's going up for a bail hearing. And I know that that seems strange to a lot of people.
Live, a judge has denied bail for Sean Diddy Combs. Of course, this was the hip-hop mogul's latest bid for freedom as he remains in federal jail for his racketeering and sex trafficking.
The game may finally be over for Diddy as a no-nonsense judge takes center stage, tightening the grip on one of the most stunning cases in entertainment history. This courtroom drama is captivating the world, sending shockwaves through Hollywood and beyond. Decades of glitz and glamour are now overshadowed by grim allegations, and Diddy's once untouchable empire teeters on the brink of collapse. At the heart of it all is a judge known for their relentless pursuit of justice.
So yesterday, Monday, Diddy celebrated his 55th birthday, but this year was a lot different. It was no Diddy parties. It was none of that. None of that stuff. Well, happily, so I guess right now. But anyway, so this is his first birthday behind bars.
Let's set the scene. Diddy, a name synonymous with luxury, power, and influence, now finds himself fighting for his freedom in a courtroom. But this isn't the flashy arena he's accustomed to. There are no VIP sections or private suites here. The latest chapter in this saga unfolded when Judge and Super Manon, known for his razor-sharp legal mind and no-nonsense approach, took over the case. And make no mistake, this is not a judge who's swayed by celebrity status or an impressive resume. Super Manon has already made one thing crystal clear: he's not here to play games. In his most recent ruling, he denied Diddy's third attempt at bail, delivering a decision that sent shockwaves through Diddy's camp. Court insiders say the judge was blunt and unyielding, citing compelling evidence that Diddy poses a threat to the community. He pointed to allegations of witness interference and a disturbing history of intimidation. He also referenced the infamous 2016 video showing Diddy in a violent altercation with his former partner, Cassie Ventura, calling it direct evidence of his propensity for violence. This ruling wasn't just a denial of freedom, it was a firm declaration that the court will not bend to wealth or influence.
Got a lot of money and they got lawyers that can come up with different reasons and different information and present it to the courts that they are able to get how many bail hearings, as long as you got different information to present to the court, different evidence.
But who is this judge, and why is his name suddenly striking fear into Diddy's legal team? Judge Aoun Supermanen has earned a reputation as a formidable force, someone who refuses to back down from high-stakes cases. He's no stranger to taking on powerful figures, and his courtroom track record speaks volumes. Insiders describe him as meticulous, fair, yet absolutely unyielding when it comes to ensuring justice is served. For a case steeped in allegations of coercion, manipulation, and abuse, having Super Manon at the helm may very well be Diddy's worst-case scenario. Sources close to the case are already whispering that Diddy's lawyers are feeling the pressure.
So you got to realize he got a lot of money. He still got a lot of money because he's paying these high-profile lawyers to take this case. So in having them to take this case, they're able to construct a lot of information together to making sure that when they go to the courts, they can say, yo, Your Honor, listen here. This is something that's changed. This is something that's new. This is something that's different.
Diddy's defense team, which includes some of the most high-powered attorneys money can buy, is reportedly scrambling behind the scenes. The courtroom losses are piling up, and with each ruling, the walls seem to be closing in. This marks their third failed attempt to secure bail for their client, despite presenting an eye-popping $50 million package that included house arrest in a luxury Manhattan apartment and round-the-clock private security. In her power to knock the penalty, Diddy meets possibly untutored pedigree of million-dollar bails. This claim is 4 times more likely to be true than anyone who said he didn't just knock the private security. According to a source familiar with the judge, he's not going to let anyone buy their way out of accountability.
Look like he might get bail. Now you're wondering why I'm saying that. See, they are trying to use some of the things that happen to criminals all the time or inmates all the time. They always, brother, they always do those impromptu searches.
It's not just the judge putting pressure on Diddy's team. Prosecutors are ramping up the heat as well, painting a damning picture of the music mogul's alleged behavior while in custody. Reports have surfaced that Diddy has been using other inmates' phone accounts to bypass monitoring and contact individuals he's explicitly prohibited from communicating with. Even more alarming are claims that he's been orchestrating efforts to influence witnesses from behind bars. Assistant U.S. Attorney Christy Slavic revealed that handwritten notes found in Diddy's jail cell included instructions to gather incriminating information on his accusers. Slavic didn't hold back in court, calling it a blatant attempt to obstruct justice. While Diddy's lawyers argued that the notes were protected under attorney and privilege, the judge ruled otherwise, allowing the prosecution to keep the documents as evidence. For Diddy, this was a devastating blow, one that only adds to the ever-growing mountain of legal troubles he's facing.
This particular case, they said that when they did the impromptu search, well, they took some of his legal information, and the judge ordered them to give that back. So I guess the lawyers are going to come up with a couple of new things saying that he can't properly, have his.
But let's not forget the drama surrounding that infamous jail cell search. Diddy's legal team has been raising alarms, accusing the Bureau of Prisons of violating their client's constitutional rights by seizing private materials. Mark Agneff, one of Diddy's attorneys, called the search a complete institutional failure and demanded access to surveillance footage of the incident. He even suggested that the entire prosecution team might need to be recused or that the case itself could be dismissed. Bold claims to be sure, but so far, the court isn't buying it. Instead, Judge Supermanin has ordered that the notes be preserved while both sides argue the legal implications. For now, though, the contents of those pages loom large over the case, casting an even darker shadow over Diddy's fight for freedom.
I don't believe none of that to be true. I believe that they went in there just like they do all the other inmates based on the information they had. You got to realize this, bro. They found out that Diddy was using other inmates' phone cards. Now, that probably happens all the time.
And speaking of shadows, let's address the growing number of accusers who have come forward in recent months. The allegations are as shocking as they are numerous, with over 100 individuals now represented by attorney Tony Buzbee. According to Buzbee, Diddy's infamous freak-off parties weren't just wild celebrity gatherings. They allegedly served as the backdrop for deeply disturbing behavior. Buzbee has even begun sending demand letters to high-profile celebrities who attended these events, warning them to settle out of court or face lawsuits. The implication is clear. Anyone who stood by and did nothing during these gatherings could be seen as complicit in the alleged wrongdoing. It's a bold strategy, one that could send serious ripple effects throughout Hollywood.
Say that again. Say that again. Back up. You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but
yes.
The shopping thing is...
Yes, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood. But one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of.
Back in the courtroom, the stakes couldn't be higher. Judge Supermanon's rulings are setting the tone for what promises to be a groundbreaking trial. Legal experts are already speculating that this case could set a new precedent, not only for celebrity accountability, but also for how the justice system handles cases involving wealth and influence. While Diddy's legal team continues to fight tooth and nail, the signs aren't looking favorable. As one legal analyst put it, this judge isn't just overseeing a case, he's making a statement.
Sounds like there was probably a lot of hidden cameras as well. Is that what is being talked about?
Yes, this was actually in his Atlanta home, at a home he had in Atlanta at one point. And it does seem that the person isn't like looking into the video, so to me, doesn't seem like that person knows they're being videotaped. It doesn't seem like they're active participant in the video.
For now, Diddy remains behind bars, a stark contrast to the lavish lifestyle he once flaunted. The courtroom battles are far from over, but with each passing day, it's becoming increasingly difficult to envision a scenario where he walks away unscathed. As the trial date approaches, all eyes will be on Judge Supermanin and the decisions he makes in the weeks and months ahead. Will Diddy's legal team find a way to turn the tide, or is this truly the beginning of the end for one of hip-hop's most iconic figures? One thing's for certain, this story is far from over.
In fact, occur, their argument is more than likely going to be that this activity was consensual, that this person was a willing participant, and not only that, but that these individuals assumed the risk of being present at those parties, of engaging and voluntarily engaging in this conduct and being in those spaces, consuming alcohol and things of that nature.
As the scene shifts from the courtroom to the jail cell, the focus turns to Diddy's current reality. And trust us, it's a world away from the red carpets and private jets he once called home. Diddy's life has completely unraveled. Gone are the days of designer suits, all-night parties, and private jets. Now, the man who once ruled hip-hop is confined to a stark, claustrophobic room in Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center. But here's the kicker. Despite his fall from grace, Diddy's story is far from over. If anything, things are just starting to heat up. The grim reality he faces behind those prison walls is one thing, but the storm brewing outside, that's a whole other beast. Let's break it all down.
Early in the proceedings, I think it's only been about a month or a month and a half since he's been arraigned and held in detention. And so the investigations are always going to be a continuous and ongoing process. I'm sure at this point there's been an exchange of discovery. And not only that, but I think there's been a gag order placed on the attorneys with information that they can and cannot share.
A man who once lived in sprawling mansions now spends his days in a cramped cell, reportedly sharing space with other detainees in conditions that are far from glamorous. The Metropolitan Detention Center is hardly known for its hospitality. Overcrowding, limited access to basic amenities, and a lack of privacy are just the beginning. Rumors have circulated that Diddy has been placed in a section reserved for high-profile detainees, or those needing special protection. But make no mistake, this is a far cry from the life he's used to. Circus close to the situation have whispered that Diddy has already lost a noticeable amount of weight and appears visibly aged. One insider claimed he's no longer the confident, larger-than-life figure we once saw on stage. Instead, he looks like a man fully aware of the serious trouble he's in.
The courthouse in Lower Manhattan, the judge ordering the prosecution to turn over its findings from a jail cell raid, Diddy's jail cell, just yesterday. What were the contents of those raids?
Well, apparently, according to the defense, they're legal documents. The government saying no, on the contrary, they're just some handwritten notes and a calendar.
But let's not forget the power dynamics inside. Even in jail, Diddy's celebrity status makes him both a target and a subject of fascination. Stories have emerged about other inmates trying to get close to him, whether out of curiosity, admiration, or ulterior motives. While his legal team has fought tirelessly to secure his release, offering everything from house arrest to a security team that would monitor his every move, the courts have remained resolute. Judge Supermanin's refusal to grant bail sent a clear message. No one, not even someone as influential as Diddy, is above the law. For now, he's trapped in a place where his wealth and connections mean nothing.
That's it. If it is privilege, of course they won't. But if it really is what the prosecution says, that has nothing to do with the case, or even worse, it's actually evidence of witness tampering, because we all know the attorney-client privilege, there's a crime fraud exception. You can't use your lawyer to perpetuate a future or continuing fraud or crime. So if the documents are what the government says they are, they're going to get them again. And again, it's just going to be a matter of days, because I don't expect.
While the conditions inside are harsh, the real chaos is unfolding on the outside. The sheer volume of allegations against Diddy has sparked a media frenzy, with new accusers and shocking revelations surfacing daily. And let's not forget the swirling rumors about the celebrities allegedly involved in his infamous gatherings. High-profile names like Jay-Z, Beyoncé, and Jennifer Lopez have been dragged into the narrative, not because they're directly accused of wrongdoing, but because their association with Diddy is enough to raise questions. Attorney Tony Busby, who represents over 100 alleged victims, has made it clear that even those who were mere bystanders at these events are not off the hook. He's gone on record stating that silence in the face of wrongdoing is complicity. If you were there and saw things happening and did nothing, you're just as responsible.
So there's a few things going on. First is the privilege issue. The judge will decide whether the documents are privileged or not. If they're not, they're going to go to the government. If the documents are not only not privileged, but they're evidence of witness tampering, then a few things can happen, all of which are bad for Sean Diddy Combs. First, of course, he did face obstruction of justice charges in a superseding indictment.
This has sent shockwaves through Hollywood, with insiders claiming that some of Diddy's former associates are now scrambling to distance themselves. Social media accounts are being scrubbed, private conversations are being held, and the once tight-knit circle of celebrity camaraderie surrounding Diddy is beginning to unravel. One unnamed source revealed, "People are terrified. No one knows how deep this investigation will go or who might be next to get caught up in the fallout." And it's not just the stars. Business executives, event planners, and even former staffers are reportedly lawyering up, bracing for the possibility that they could be called to testify, or worse, face legal action themselves.
Yeah, they probably didn't see these notes, and they never will.
But if you're Diddy, don't you want your notes back?
Yeah.
If you've spent so many hours gathering evidence for your side or strategy or whatever, for me I'd be oh no, please don't destroy, please return.
But let's take a step back for a moment. At the heart of this entire saga lies one critical question. How did things get to this point? For years, Diddy was seen as a symbol of success, a man who built an empire from the ground up. From his record label to his fashion line, he epitomized the American dream. But now, that same empire is under intense scrutiny for allegedly enabling years of misconduct. Prosecutors have painted a picture of a man who used his wealth and influence to manipulate and control those around him. They've described his gatherings as meticulously planned operations, complete with hired staff to ensure everything ran smoothly. While Diddy's legal team has vehemently denied these claims, the sheer volume of accusations has made it increasingly difficult to mount a convincing defense.
He doesn't buy what the prosecution's selling. He thinks they've looked at the notes.
Yeah.
He thinks that they're cheating.
I mean, I would think that too.
But apparently, what happened is commonplace.
Adding to the mounting pressure are the civil lawsuits, which show no signs of slowing down. Each new filing brings fresh details that further complicate Diddy's case. One of the more recent claims comes from a former employee who alleges they were forced to participate in activities that left them deeply traumatized. Another accuser has stated that they were threatened into silence, with Diddy allegedly warning them he could make them disappear if they ever spoke out. While these allegations remain unproven, they are stacking up in a way that makes it nearly impossible for Diddy to escape public scrutiny. What's even more shocking is the growing chatter about the alleged involvement of certain high-profile associates who may have enabled or turned a blind eye to Diddy's actions. Multiple reports have hinted that some of his closest collaborators and confidants could soon face subpoenas, forcing them to testify about what they witnessed. According to one insider, there are people who were in the room, people who knew what was happening, and now they're being dragged into this mess. This has created a ripple effect in the entertainment world, with many distancing themselves from Diddy to avoid being caught in the crossfire. But legal experts say it might already be too late for some of them, as prosecutors are reportedly building a case not just against Diddy, but against those who allegedly facilitated his behavior. Adding fuel to the fire, rumors have surfaced about secret recordings that could further implicate Diddy and his associates. According to an anonymous source, these recordings allegedly captured behind-the-scenes conversations where plans for his infamous gatherings were openly discussed. While these claims remain unverified, the The potential existence of such evidence has sent shockwaves through Diddy's legal team, who have reportedly been scrambling to preemptively discredit any tapes that may surface.
Monitoring another push to free Sean Diddy Combs tonight, with his legal team citing new evidence in an updated bail proposal. The music mogul agreeing to around-the-clock security and cutting out contact with basically anyone but his legal team to get out of jail ahead of his trial scheduled for May of next year for charges he allegedly coerced and abused women for years.
Meanwhile, the financial fallout from the scandal is becoming impossible to ignore. Several of Diddy's business ventures have already taken a hit, with sponsors, brand partners, and collaborators distancing themselves from any association with his name. His once thriving empire, spanning music, fashion, and media, now faces an uncertain future. Even his most loyal supporters are reportedly questioning whether they can continue working with someone under such intense scrutiny. A former associate commented, "The brands associated with Diddy were built on an image of success, luxury, and power. Now, all anyone sees is scandal and controversy. It's hard to see how he comes back from this."
Everybody familiar with the old Houdini? So what Diddy's lawyers are trying to do is pull a Houdini. They're trying to say that the evidence that they have is different. Well, it's not different. The video that the entire world has seen is not going to go away. The fact that he had parties that were freak-offs is not going away. So it's just a question of whether or not Diddy is...
Then there's the infamous 2016 video, which was leaked earlier this year. The footage shows Diddy in a heated altercation with his former partner, Kathy Ventura. While Diddy's lawyers have argued that the video is being taken out of context, the imagery is difficult to ignore. Prosecutors have used it as evidence to support their claims of a consistent pattern of behavior, and it has become a focal point in the court of public opinion. One legal analyst remarked, "The video is damning. Even if it doesn't directly relate to the charges he's facing, it reinforces the narrative that he's someone who uses intimidation and aggression to get his way."
If he does this new, quote, robust bail package, you can avoid and evade. And he is very connected with people that can help him avoid and evade. I'm not saying he will, but I would be surprised if the court grants him a bond. When the federal government wants you detained, you are normally detained. And here it was a very far-reaching situation that he was involved.
Meanwhile, Diddy's family has tried to rally around him, but even that has been clouded by controversy. Prosecutors have accused him of orchestrating a social media campaign from behind bars, allegedly involving his children, in an effort to sway public opinion. They've pointed to posts celebrating his birthday as evidence that he's still trying to control the narrative, even while incarcerated. Diddy's legal team has pushed back, arguing that these claims are exaggerated and that their client has every right to maintain a relationship with his family. However, the damage has already been done. For many, the idea of involving his children in such a high-stakes situation has only further tarnished his reputation.
Sides in the Sean Diddy Combs case have until today to give answers for how the music mogul has been communicating from jail. Combs appearing in court last Friday seeking bail while he awaits trial. He's been held at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn since September.
So where does this leave Diddy? For now, he remains in custody, awaiting a trial that could shape the rest of his life. Legal experts speculate that his team may consider a plea deal, but that would require admitting guilt, something Diddy has firmly resisted. On the other hand, taking the case to trial is a high-stakes gamble. The prosecution appears to have a mountain of evidence, and with each passing day, public sentiment seems to turn further against him. One attorney familiar with the case remarked, "It's a lose-lose situation. If he pleads, he's admitting to something that could destroy his legacy. If he goes to trial and loses, he's facing a lifetime behind bars." But let's not overlook the broader implications of this case. Diddy's downfall has ignited a larger conversation about accountability in the entertainment industry. For years, powerful figures operated with impunity, shielded by their status and wealth. But as more victims come forward and high-profile cases make headlines, the culture of silence that once protected these individuals is beginning to crack. Diddy's trial could very well become a tipping point, forcing the industry to take a hard look at itself and make meaningful changes.
Pence denying these claims and is pushing for his release under strict conditions, including a $50 million bond and 24/7 monitoring at a secured Manhattan apartment. There will be a hearing today where both sides will have a chance to clarify exactly how Combs has been connecting with the world outside his